Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for October 4th, 2020, with your host, Beastmaker2448, and Ramp Epsilon.
Hi. I'm kind of, right now, enjoying the Kirby music that's playing.
Ooh, the Kerbal. We are at the end of the first part of the tournament.
And are straddled the end of the first opening and the start of the second.
Yeah, because we get the second opening, which... How do you feel about the second opening?
I feel like I like the first opening better. Like, song-wise, like, lyric-wise, the second one I feel like fits better, personally. Yeah. It's one of those, I understand the change, but I kind of like the song for the first opening better.
Don't worry, it'll be back. Don't worry, we'll get a big fancy battle sequence with the first opening as a...
Also, shout-outs to, you mentioned that the openings were fixing to be changing, and still when it happened, I was like, oh, wait, that happens now?
I was about to say, the second opening is literally tournament themed, so I was just like, we're gonna hit that at some point. Because, like, that's the tournament opening.
I almost feel like they should have waited until the finals to shift that over.
Oh, like we started the opening properly? Or started the tournament properly?
With the second opening.
Yeah.
Because I did kind of, looking at that, I'm like, that seems like it's a little off pace, but at the same time, I guess that kind of works. I don't know, that's just one of those, I'm like, yeah, it might feel like it starts in a weird spot, too.
Yeah. I don't think the opening transitions have ever been well-timed for any of the build series, I think. They kind of just happen so many episodes into the series.
It'd be nice if they kind of timed it a little better, though.
Yeah. But yeah, it is 13 through 16 this week, folks. The end of the, more or less, the seeding round and a break episode where fucking Gundam Cop Dad gets to show up. God damn it.
And Reggie continues to be oblivious.
Yes. Also, fucking quoting Decade. God damn it. Don't think I didn't notice that. Don't think I didn't notice that. But yeah, anything before we hit the recaps?
No.
Alright then, we kick off with episode 13, Battle Weapon. We pick up with Sei heading out to pick up Gina because she's staying with family that is closer to where the stadium is, so she can go to the event in person with Raul driving her back and forth, because that's just what Raul does.
Because I swear everyone's trying to ship these two, whether they want to or not.
Yes. Look, I will put it this way. Do they get together? Yes. Do they have a kid? No. That's the other couple. At least confirmed. As of the last content from Build Fighters Try, only one pair in this series has a kid, and it's not Sei. And somehow Reggie's dumbass genes did not pass into his kid.
Oh, thank God.
I am honestly surprised. I will be honest. Reggie's kid is nothing like him or the person he gets with, which you could probably guess who he's getting with.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, they're only, screaming it with big bold letters right now.
Yeah, more or less, their kid ended up with the complete opposite genes from her parents, because it's a girl. And I'm like, how the did that happen? You are nothing like either one of your dumbass parents.
She got lucky.
Yeah, she kind of did. Probably for the best.
Yeah, most definitely.
But we also see that Reggie is in the bathroom, dunking his hand in some ice cold water to try to curb the bruising on his wrist. Since smart Reggie here deciding that I'm going to block a metal bat with my wrist. My bracelet will take most of that, right? No, that's not how my bracelet works. Oh, oops. I am surprised his bracelet still fits his hand this entire time. Because his wrist should have
mass shifting bracelets.
Probably, because I'm like, his wrist should have swollen, and that bracelet should not be fitting anymore.
It shouldn't have just turned red.
True.
Like, that should have turned all kinds of colors that are not red.
Look, we ain't got the budget for that. We ain't got the time budget to actually properly depict the bruising. Also, we might not be allowed to properly depict the bruising, but whatever.
I mean, fair.
Back over to Say, we find out the whole situation with China, and apparently Ral is allergic to Young Love because it activates his hemorrhoids or something. I don't know. I don't know what's going on with him in this hemorrhoids joke.
I love that you kept it going too. Oh god.
Like, I'm not sure if this is a Japan joke, just a Build Fighters
like
joke, or just something random they threw in there. But anyway, we cut back over to Reggie, who's hanging out in the park, only for Alia to show up to have a chat about the night before. Pretty much going, thanks for help, but I probably could have kicked all their asses. He's like, no, I can't do that. I can't have a girl fight when I could fight. That's not how we do things. I kick their asses. Which is one of those, honestly, I would like that both of you kick their asses, but whatever.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Mm-hmm. But she ends up leaving. We see her being happy, which it's nice to... Because I forgot how much Alia gets to be happy outside of when she gets stuck in the suit doing Gunpla stuff in this early part. That she actually gets to be happy for the most part. Because I thought she was more or less miserable for the whole series until the end.
I could say that.
Anyway, say Gina and Ral show up for the end of this conversation, and it flares up Ral's hemorrhoids again because fucking jokes, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Alia heads back to Nemesis Prime to go prep for the next round. I don't know what else to call this but Nemesis Prime, since it's Team Nemesis. It's a vaguely truck-like... Fuck it, it's a Transformer. I buy it.
I mean, works for me.
Yeah. But our next round is a weapon lucky draw round. More or less, every fighter will be drawing lots from a Gashapon machine on stage. Whatever number they get is the weapon they have to fight their opponent with in the next battle. And they are matched up with the next number in line. So 1 fights 2, 3 fights 4, 5 fights 6, etc., etc., etc. But we don't get to find out the weapons yet. We just see what everyone draws number-wise. I did not bother to write down who all's got what number, because none of it matters.
Yeah, not really.
Spoilers, everyone you care about so far, or at least everyone who has been named and important so far, went up against someone else who's not important and whipped their ass. That's how these go. That's how all of these have gone.
Approximately 5 seconds.
Yeah. we have the montage so we can do Say and Reggie's stuff for like the rest of the episode. I think the only thing that was noteworthy is the funny one with Alia, where her tech person is just like, the shield will hold. She's like, who said this was a shield? It proceeds to like cut a robot in half with a big pair of scissors. And I'm like, did you not know that she had like a scissor shield thing? Were you surprised by that? Granted, that was the first of 2 instances of one of our important characters having scissors as a weapon.
Yeah.
Because Ricardo got scissors as well, and instead of bisecting them like from arm to arm, he like bisected them from like crotch to head with the scissors by jamming them in and opening them, which I'm like, okay, you threw in 2 scissors, but you gave us 2 different kills for them. I'm okay with that.
Yeah. And I also love the fact that when that kill happened, the one that he destroyed was like, that's not how you use scissors.
It blows you up either way. It blows you up either way. I don't know what you're complaining about. Outside of being blown up to start with.
I mean, fair.
But Ray and Seiji end up with a unlucky draw because Reggie doesn't draw it, Sei does because Reggie's arm's injured and he doesn't want to show it. And they end up with 44, which is a super unlucky number because that means double death. Now you know why nothing good happens to all the main characters of Arc 5. Because they're 4 and 4. That's death and death. It's stupid. It's stupid superstition, but I'm like, okay. That makes a little sense, but I'm like, that still doesn't explain the bad writing of Arc 5, but meh. Granted, this draw is actually predetermined because, Machida and his secretary are trying to dunk them out of the tournament, so they were going to get 44 no matter who drew the line. Because 43 was actually drawn by Wang, and the 2 of them are going to face off. But they meet after the draw, and the Wang's actually impressed with Starbuild's quality and all the fancy bullshit it can do, and he wants to fight him. So they get to go fight. And then we get the montage of everyone else doing their thing.
Yeah, they get to go, quote unquote, fight.
Yes. But we fast forward through the montage to Sei and Reggie as they set up to fight the Wang. And this is where I was like, fuck, I forgot about this. So, 44, as it turns out, is a baseball cap, a pitcher's glove, and 3 baseballs. And 43 is a baseball bat and a baseball cap. Because you could actually see it hanging off the horn of the of Luang's gunpla.
Because these are weapons.
They are. I mean, the bat is. And considering how fast that first ball came out, it can be. If it's used properly. That will put a hole in someone.
The simple fact that the stadium came up around them. This proves that this is weapons, and this isn't just a joke.
Yes.
I mean...
So when they all pick up their weapons, the baseball stadium comes up around, and now, instead of it being an actual fight, more or less, Sei and Reggie are the pitcher against Luang, who is the batter. Luang needs to hit a home run, and he wins. If Sei and Reggie strike out Luang, they win. Which, technically they didn't strike him out, since the second ball didn't count, but fuck it, whatever. We only got 3 balls, so we're not throwing more. We're not giving you 7 balls to figure out how to get this stuff to work.
I mean, we don't have enough time for that.
Yep. So at this point, Reggie is, of course, confused about what is baseball? And Say tries to talk him through it, and he's just like, no, throw a ball! So he proceeds to throw the ball, and the pain in his wrist kicks in. So it doesn't end up being a good pitch, and as we soon find out, Luang drives this out of the stadium. Foul ball, mind you, so it doesn't count. But it goes flying out of the stadium, and it has enough momentum to go to the upper deck of the stadium, and it actually takes out Kieran's Coke can that she has in her hand in the upper deck of the stadium.
Which I find immensely funny.
Fuck. Just, damn. That could probably kill someone.
To be fair, it's a wonder it didn't.
Yep. But yeah, as we find out, Luang's actually a slugger for his local baseball team. And is actually scouted for the majors. And it's like, fuck. Well, we're fucked now. Aren't we? So, Say tries to talk Reggie through once more. Reggie doesn't give a fuck. He throws another pitch. This time, it gets batted directly back at them. Reggie tries to catch this with the glove. Except this time, it obliterates the arm. And the ball. So it doesn't count as a catch, meaning Luang is not out. So we do go to a third ball. That's not how baseball works, but okay, sure. Sure. Technically, the moment he caught that, that's an out, and we're done. It's regardless of if it's like trying to take him out.
Yeah, but plot.
Yeah. So now Star builds down an arm. Thankfully, it's not the throwing arm, it's the catching arm. And they don't need that now, more or less. But now Say finds out about Reggie's injury because it's flared up because of him trying to catch the ball. And he tries to take over, but Reggie's like, no, I want to do this. I need to pitch him out. So Say decides, all right, it's time to bust out the ace in the hole. So they activate the RG system at 30% power, mind you. 30% power. And only concentrated in one arm. So with the Super Saiyan mode activated, Reggie makes the pitch. And it's a very spicy one down the plate. And it takes Luang right out of the stadium. Bat first, mind you. Which, that's not how physics works, but okay, sure. Technically, it should have broken the bat. And then went through the stadium. Not carried his dumbass through the back wall of the stadium. All the way outside. I'm sure at some point Luang would need to let go of the bat.
Yeah.
But anyway, this strikes out Luang. Say Reggie win. They get another 4 points and continue their win streak. Afterwards, Luang congrats them, but wants to meet them in the tournament in the future, since he is now down 4 points and more or less in the runner-up pack, as we'll get to in a little bit. And the chairman is, of course, upset about this because, no! It's a child that I don't like, even though he won't recognize me in the next episode.
At all.
Or in the... At all! At all is still here. I am a literal baby.
Yeah.
But we actually end off the episode with Alia finding out that Reggie is in the tournament for the first time. Although she will not reveal that she is in the tournament until, I think, into the tournament proper is when they finally find out that she's actually this strange woman in this suit that we never see the face of, who may or may not be the same size, which I would think would tip people off more, but nobody pays attention to that in the series.
I mean, we've done proven that both Say and Reggie can be oblivious at times.
Incredible, yes.
Reggie more so than Say, but and on top of that, Reggie's kind of been the one to have the most interaction with her. So I can also kind of understand that.
And also, never asked for her name. Doesn't even know her name.
Yeah. Yeah.
Only knows her as Strange Lady I keep running into. Anyway, that takes us to episode 14, Codename C. So we kick off with actually Alia having a flashback to when she was recruited by Team Nemesis, when I presume she was homeless in city that has snow in some area of the world, I guess. I don't think we ever named the city she's from.
Probably not.
But more or less, she's recruited by Team Nemesis to be their pilot, and more or less, I guess, promised to not be in poverty anymore, and not be homeless, and not have a miserable life anymore. But we now see her, after the flashback, hanging out in her room, more or less finding out Reggie and Say were the pilots of the Gundam she saw before. And she wonders what their reason for fighting is, especially since they'll lose to her, because she's that confident in her abilities. Again, two peas in a pod with Reggie here.
Mm-hmm.
Because Reggie would say the exact same goddamn thing. But we montage through the next 3 rounds. We get a marksmanship round, a Tomari round, more or less throwing stuff into basket and throw more than your opposing team. I don't know. It's on screen for 5 seconds, so I don't know what the hell this is. I assume it's a Japanese thing. And then a 3v3 battle round. And of course, Say and Reggie make it through all of these and win. With the Mark II, actually, they are not using Build Strike for any of these rounds, since I assume Build Strike is under repair, and we don't feel like using Build Strike with Reggie down an arm.
I mean,
because at least one round, I think it's the marksmanship round, Say actually has to tag team the controls because Reggie's arm's in a sling. One second, I'll be back.
Okay.
All right, I'm back.
Welcome back.
All right, so now we montage through the rounds. We actually get Rao to catch us up on the standings, more or less. Generally, though. So through 6 rounds, Sei and Reggie are undefeated, so they've got a perfect score. They are not the only ones, because Yuki, Alia, Niles, Mao, and Ricardo, so more or less all our important fighters, are likewise undefeated. And with some others that I believe are named and are going to be important, 12 in total have perfect scores. And at only 4 points behind, so pretty much just a round victory, are an additional 7 fighters, which includes Wang. So that makes 19 fighters vying for 16 spots in the tournament with 2 rounds remaining, meaning it's pretty much anybody's game to make it in or not at the current moment. So Sei and Reggie are far from being knocked out. Presumably.
Which, in light of this point right here, now that I'm thinking about it, as you were saying about trying to figure out the points based on seeding, we would kind of have an idea of where they're at point-wise right here.
Yeah.
And I think at this point we see everyone that wins going forward. Mm-hmm. So it could be possible for someone to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not saying one of us is going to do it. I'm just saying if someone felt the need to do that to see if they actually, stayed true to what they said, then yeah, that could possibly be a thing you could do from this point.
Yeah. Because our next... Well, we don't get to that just yet, but we do find out that the Mashida is, of course, upset about this. But him and his secretary plot to sabotage Sei and Reggie in the next round, as they have called in a specialist. He is named C. And as we find out later, he's a part of the Gunpla Mafia? Which is a fucking thing in this universe?
I super feel like this was shoehorned in.
Yeah. Kind of. We need Sei and Reggie to lose in a event that they literally can't lose because of how their Gundam works.
Yeah.
Like, it would make more sense if Reggie was still injured in a different round and they lost that because of Reggie still being injured and Sei not being that confident in his piloting skills yet.
Yeah, that would be what I would more have expected, not us getting the shoehorned and force them to lose, because yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, the C will be running interference to force them to lose in the next round, which, as turns out, is a race. So we've got 10 fighters out of our 90 fighter pool doing a race. 3 laps around the course. First to finish gets 4 points. Everyone else gets dick all. But the twist is, for this round, is not only can you bring in whatever support, vehicle, any bullshit you want to bring in to fly around the track and make you go faster, you can do that. And if you want to blow up all your opponents, you can do that too, because it's Mario Kart, more or less.
Well, it's more destructive Mario Kart.
Yes. So they're pretty much given a day to get whatever support units they want up and running. And I guess this explains why Ricardo had his bike. Because his bike now makes sense.
Yeah.
Even though it didn't before. Even because his thing can fly, so why does he need a bike? But whatever. Anyway, before this, Reggie gets sent off to go get checked out by the doctor and get fully cleared. And C keeps a watch on both him and Sei as he Sei gets build strike or star build strike up for this round. But while Reggie is out, he actually runs into Alia, who fingers him for being in the tournament because I saw you on the TV. Because I also didn't know your name till now.
Because, they're both horrible about telling others their name and or asking what the other person's name is.
Pretty much. But she asks him why he's doing the Gunpla thing, and he's just like, it's fun, and I like it. And that irritates her, and she walks off because she actually finds it painful because of thing about her we still haven't gotten to yet, but the opening actually hints at. Well, the second opening hints at. It's a very blink and you miss it kind of thing, so. Anyway, the next day, we montage through some races. Of course, the people you would expect to take the checkered flags take the checkered flag. So Ricardo gets a win, Mao gets a win, Yuki gets a win, Alia gets a win. Although I think I've been pronouncing her name wrong this entire time because it's Ayla. It's A-I-L-A instead of A-L-I-A. But I think I'm going to still call her Alia because it's easier to say.
I mean, that works for me.
Yeah. But we catch up to Sei and Reggie before their next race. As Rao and Gina are falling behind. And apparently Rao's only 35 by some miracle.
That or he's lying about his age, one of the two?
Well, he's going to be around for Build Fighters Try, and it's like 8 years or later, so I guess he can't be too old.
I mean, no, but he could also be a little older.
Yeah. But them being late actually gives Rao the opportunity to spot C sneaking into the arena, and he falls after him, telling Gina to just go on ahead to the stands, which... How do tickets work for this event?
I don't know.
Because I just had the thought of like, wait, how did Gina get a ticket unless she has a free ticket because Sei and Reggie got in and they get tickets they can give to family and friends to show up?
Maybe.
Because they have some garbage seats for being free tickets. I would think they would be closer to the front instead of like in the middle of the first deck of seats.
Maybe, because, I mean, bear in mind there is 90 people here too.
Yeah.
It's one of those maybe that's just how it worked out.
Probably.
That or... Well, no, because that feels like too many people. I was going to say, or maybe it's just like so many people that each person gets to bring with them kind of deal. But that seems like too many people in the stadium for just that.
Mm-hmm. But we also find out that Rao knows who C is, because of course he does. Of course he knows everything.
I mean, he knows everything. He knows your thoughts.
Yeah. As we find out later, as he literally has a conversation with Niels, nowhere close to Niels.
I believe again. Because didn't he do that before too?
Yes. Yes, he did. Why does everyone have a conversation with Niels when they can't hear Niels and are nowhere near him?
And when half the time he's thinking it to himself, he's not even speaking it.
Yeah. But as a note for participants in Sei and Reggie's race, the Rentaro twins, who are more or less like the Wang of they showed up in the montage at the end of people who qualified for the tournament and have been popping in and out of the like main people for the tournament every now and again, but they're only getting named now. They are here. Also, another G Gundam, the Max Gundam, which looks like a football player, except the shoulder pads can pop off and become boxing gloves because
Of
G
course they
Gundam's. Yes, G Gundam's stupid. Also, I believe the thing he rides is a surfboard, which is also accurate to G Gundam. So that's the thing that can still happen. That whole thing with, I think it's the Max Gundam, is 100% accurate to G Gundam, which is hilarious. Anyway, we kick off the race. Starbill takes the lead for a little bit in order to bait out everyone shooting at him. And apparently no one paid attention to the shield absorbing shots because everyone shoots lasers at them. So they take the absorb off that and go, well, time to activate speed mode. Goodbye, everybody. And immediately take an insane, like, probably half lap lead on everyone else.
At least half lap because of the thing that comes later.
Yeah. And once they reach there, they're like, well, we're going to turn off speed mode because we don't need this anymore and we might as well keep everything else in reserve. But as they take the first lap in the lead, they come back around to a lake portion of the track where they are dragged under by C, and this lets everyone pass them. And they have a rough time breaking free and are actually taking damage from electrical attacks from C at the same time. But at this point, Ral intervenes because he has followed C to beneath the stadium to where C is remotely operating his Gunpla, which... How did his Gunpla get into the stadium if he never went there?
I don't think it's an actual Gunpla. I think it's like a digital recreation like what we saw before. Like, I don't think this is it's just embedded in the map like that one was. I think this is more of it's injected into it.
What, the Zaku?
Yeah.
No, the Zaku was an actual Gundam. It's like this.
Not the way they were kind of describing it. It was more like the data was there for the map.
Oh, I thought the Zaku was a part of this like big old like reserve of Gundams we have in like the storage of this system to like deploy when necessary.
Okay, but think about it. Even if it is, the Gunpla would have to actually be on the pedestal to be able to be deployed.
True.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
So that leads me to think it's more like a data recreation rather than a physical Gunpla.
That would make sense because there's stuff they can interact with that does blow up, so it's probably that.
And
anyway.
I feel like what we see C doing is a case of he's doing basically software injection to put his in there.
Yeah. Anywho, Ral intervenes and decides, I'm gonna fight you, and proceeds to fight C legitimately. It takes quite the beating. Like, he gets the shit kicked out of him for a little bit before he gets some nice sucker punches on C and makes him run away, which lets Saint Reggie break out of C's Gunpla with the RG system. They also blow it up because they're like, fuck it, we're not taking a chance of you dragging us under again. Fuck you. But because of all this, they've only got about 56 seconds of the speed mode left in the tank, and they have to use all 56 seconds of it to try to catch back up. So they pop the speed mode and try to catch back up, completing the lap 2, catching back up to the pack, and sort of like just blowing their way through them to catch back up to the leader, which is actually the Rentaro twins. The twins decide, well, we know how long you have, I guess, because we're really smart.
Yeah, I don't know how they know.
I don't know either. Unless they got things that let them analyze Gundams and be like, oh, you have this much in the tank, I guess. But they more or less use a rocket barrage to delay the pair just long enough so that it times out before they both cross the checkered flag. And the Rentaro twins actually pick up the win. And thus, Sei and Reggie lose for the first time, meaning they're in the back pack. And since we saw Lu Wang in the montage win, that kind of puts them even now, I assume. But in the back, probably out of the top 16, I assume. Granted, that depends on like how the other 7 people that were with Lu Wang finished. So, in theory, they're not out as much as the episode's trying to sell of them, of like, oh no, they're out of the running. They need to win the next round. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it. Am I overthinking it?
I don't know. I mean, I know the show states that because of their loss there, that put them at 17th, I think it said. So, I guess that would make sense, because that would barely put them out of it.
Yeah.
But like you said, him winning his should have just balanced out their 1 loss apiece, which would have put them even.
And bear in mind, only 12 people, which included Sei and Reggie, had perfect scores.
Which, at this point, we have to assume that now that number is way lower because, you know...
Right.
Of all the races.
And presumably, only the people we follow, at minimum, the people we normally follow, got the next 4 points for the race, so they're guaranteed. So, I'd have to think it split the packs into 3 with the still perfect score teams, the 1-loss teams, which would be Lu Wang, Sei and Reggie, and like whoever else has only suffered 1 loss, and then probably the 2-loss group. Because even in the next round, they talk about how Ricardo is guaranteed for the tournament. He's locked in, which I assume means everyone that's got a perfect score going into the next round is locked in.
Well, they'd about have to be.
Yeah.
Because even 1 loss, worst case, that still puts them up close enough.
Yeah.
Because presumably out of this, we know 2 people that weren't in the perfect scores took some of the races, and we had 9 races. That means presumably we have 7 people with perfect scores?
Presumably. Because I don't know if Sei and Reggie were the last race.
Well, that's why I'm saying presumably.
Yeah, because we saw Yuki win, we saw Ricardo win, we saw Alia win, we saw Mao win, we saw Lu Wang win. I'm trying to think if I'm missing someone at the moment. We saw Niels win. So that leaves like 3 races. So like the twins took 1 of those races. That only leaves like 2 races unaccounted for.
Hence why I said that's presumably 7.
Yeah.
Because you would have to think that the 12 that had perfect scores, more than likely, whatever race they were in, they probably won.
Yeah.
And just for simplicity's sake, they probably were in different races as much as possible. It's one of those that I would have to think there's probably 7 that have perfect, which leaves 9 more slots. So, yeah, I would have to think that regardless, that 1 loss on the final round would probably still kind of have them. Also, Discord broke. Yay. Discord, why?
I was gonna say and Reggie still need to win to guarantee getting in, and not more or less be at the whims of who wins or loses.
Yeah,
like the final rounds.
but
it's not like they're like guaranteed to be out.
yeah. Whereas anyone that's had perfect all the way up to the final, they're pretty much guaranteed in.
Yep.
Like, I would have to think the only way would be if they lost to someone that only has one loss. Mm-hmm. That might be the only differential factor there.
Which they don't.
If there's enough people that have one loss, then it's even playing field again.
Yeah, which, as far as we saw, everyone we've been following is up against someone that we've either seen lose or we don't know what their score is. But they're pretty much considered like nobody, so...
Yeah.
It's probably a case of, yeah, they probably like just took out people who were already guaranteed out at this point.
Or at the very least were on the fence enough to where it really didn't matter.
Yeah. Yeah, also didn't finish the episode because I didn't get to note Reggie being pissed and deciding to go confront Machida. Because that's the first two episodes, and I guess we had the conversation about how we felt about the first two episodes, more or less, right there.
Very true.
So just move on to the next pair.
Works for me.
All right, episode 15, Fighters Radiance. We catch up with Ral talking to Sei and Reggie, more or less going, "This is C. He's a hitman associated with the Gunpla Mafia," which is still a fucking thing, and I'm just like, why is this a thing? But then again, this is like those 90s cartoons where of course there is an evil organization attached to this children's fucking game. Of course there is. Why wouldn't there be? It's in every other anime like this, so I shouldn't be too surprised. Fucking 100% of Pokemon's villains are exactly this thing. They're just not called the Mafia.
I mean, not directly. They might as well be, though.
Yes, they're all Mafias. Anywho, they also think that because the Zaku only attacked them, they also think that C is responsible for the Zaku, which we know is wrong. But they're also like, oh, apparently they got thrown in by the people in charge to spice things up. But again, it got attacked them, so they're just like, Z probably hijacked it and made it go after us only. But all this prompts Reggie to go have a talk with Machida, who, as we see, even though he's like, I handled them gently, nah, he beat the shit out of every single fucking security person in his way.
Yeah, I love that. I asked them nicely, and they just moved. No. No. The people laying in the hallway there kind of says otherwise.
Yes. Anyway, Reggie, of course, doesn't recognize Machida, even to all his fears. It's just like, hey, don't cause bullshit. I don't want to deal with your bullshit. Leave us alone. If you want to do it, fight us straight up. All right? I'm leaving. Goodbye. And apparently this scares the shit out of Machida as he tries to talk to his secretary about like the secret of PPSE and the Plofsky particles, which Niels is apparently a ninja. Because he has the outfit and everything, and I guess the training, was spying on them. And the secretary knew someone was outside, so told him to shut the fuck up and not talk secrets just yet. Because we can't spoil that.
Not yet.
I just find it hilarious. I'm just like, wait, your Gundam's a samurai, but you are actually legitimately a ninja. Like, why is your Gundam not a ninja then?
Reasons.
If you Yeah. Anyway, we catch up with Say real quick as he's fixing up Star Build for the last round, noting they need a win to advance. But we head over to the next day where Yuki's informed of his opponent, and he no-sells it because fuck him, I'm going through the next round. I got more important fights, so. But as they're announcing the fights, we see that Say and Reggie find out their opponent, and it is Ricardo. Meaning, for the first time, Reggie and Ricardo get to fight evenly. This is the fight we have been building the first half of the series towards. And the first time Say and Reggie get to fight on even terms with one of the main characters that's not Yuki. Finally. And I will say, they did not disappoint by going, this is one of the fights we've been building towards. Here is the slugfest we are bringing to you with this fight. But yeah, they find that out, and then we montage through everyone winning their round, their 1v1s to move on. And it's actually split over 2 days, so Reggie... This is why I was confused, because Reggie's sitting with Rao and China, eating popcorn in the stands. Which, that seat's been filled before. So I'm like, are you sitting in someone's seat?
Probably. I mean, it's Reggie.
True. But anyway, everyone moves on that you would normally expect. No surprises here. Including the Wang gets this, so he's also still at, like, 1 loss. But we end the day off with Ricardo sharing a drink with Kira. So, I guess Kira is at least of the legal age to drink in Japan. Because she is actually drinking the same, I guess, scotch that Ricardo's drinking. It's either scotch or whiskey, I don't know. Both of them, I think, use the weird, like, ball of ice, because that's better for the drink. Don't ask me how I know that. I might have watched a little too much of Bar Rescue to know dumb things like that, while never drinking alcohol myself. Anyway, they talk, and we find out through here that Kira's just like, yeah, you're gonna let them through, right? Because, like, you're locked into the tournament. It doesn't matter if you win or lose the next match. You're locked in, so you're gonna let them through. And this actually gives Ricardo a quick crisis of conscience of just like, I like the kids. I want them to get into the tournament, so I should let them win. But on the other hand, I want to fight them. I want to punch them. And I want them to earn their way in. Oh no. Thankfully, this is solved very quickly. Because the next day they meet on a canyon map. This is like, I think the first time I've ever noted the actual map they're fighting on. Because it's the only time, it's one of the few times it matters where they're fighting on, because it actually comes in the tactics for like 5 seconds. But yeah, they meet on the canyon, and as they're flying towards each other, Ricardo decides that to get my point across, I'm going to ram directly into them head first, and that will tell them all they need to know about how this is going to go down. Which they both actually get, because it's just, fight me, and they're like, okay, and they proceed to fight each other. I just find it hilarious. It's like, headbutt. Okay, we're both on the same page on this, right? Right? Okay. So now, the two of them duke it out, and they proceed to take chunks out of each other, with Ricardo getting the early edge by being more or less the better pilot, and quickly taking out the absorb shield so they can't, like, absorb his laser shots. Also taking out their booster, like, to limit their mobility. But this only leads to Say and Reggie going into the canyon to set up a trap to distract him with said backpack so they can blow up Ricardo's backpack and his gun, but then proceed to lose their own gun. So now they're pretty much down to swords. Because every Gundam comes with a sword.
I mean, it has to for when gun breaks.
Yep. So now it's down to a sword fight, and they proceed to both take more damage. Both of them pretty much going down an arm in the process. Say and Reggie go to the RG system, even though it would cause more damage.
I think Discord just broke again. Oh, I'm sure Discord just broke again.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Alright, so where did it break?
Literally right before I said about Discord breaking again. That's usually how I work that.
Yeah. Anyway, so sword fight happens. They're both taking a lot of damage. They're both down an arm. Not fully, but at least like non-functioning arm. At this point, Say and Reggie, or Say decides we need the RG system to win this. And Reggie's like, won't that do more damage to us as well? And Say's like, yes, but we gotta do it, so hit the button. And Reggie's like, okay, fine. So now, pretty much on a self-destruct timer with the RG system, they are now having to fight Ricardo with that. So it continues. They continue to take chunks out of each other, now pretty much obliterating each other's, I think, left arm? Respectively. They each take out an arm. And then as they continue to throw haymakers, they take out each other's heads, leaving the bodies in like one arm apiece. And I like that Ricardo has like the little like side cloak thing that like Ezio has, which gets destroyed. But I guess it's still active enough that lets him like wrap the cloak around the arm.
Yeah, I noticed that too. I have to wonder if that's a backup in case it gets overloaded.
Probably. I'm just like, that's a cool detail. I don't know how that works, but that's a cool detail.
Because it almost looked more so as if rather than they destroyed the cloak, it more like it overloaded it. Mm-hmm. So that might be one of those, it's got a second function.
Yeah. But they are now down to one arm apiece, and they proceed to collide with the arms, thus blowing up both arms, leaving both Gundams without, I guess, any means of kicking each other's asses, even though their legs are still functioning. So the fight is then declared a draw. And they split the points, getting 2 points apiece. And the crowd gives a very generous ovation for these two people beating the ever-loving shit out of each other. Which, to be fair, it's the first good fight they've had the entire tournament, I feel like.
True.
Like, outside of the Zaku fight, this is the first big slugfest we've gotten all series. Or all tournament, so... Yeah, everyone's been waiting for this.
Everything else up to this point has kind of been uber one-sided.
Mm-hmm. But this is also when Ral knows that Niels is like, why are they beating the shit out of each other? Why are they throwing everything at each other when they still have the rest of the tournament at stake? And it's like, and Ral knows, it's like, because they're fighters. That's what they do. They throw everything at each other until one person is left standing. Damn it. That's how this works. And also, Yuki chimes in at this point, in person to Niels, to talk about this too. Because Yuki also knows, nah, this is how this shit goes. We throw everything at each other. That's how this rolls. If it's broke, we fix it. We're really good at fixing things.
Like, really, really good.
Yeah. But because of this draw, Say and Reggie just make the tournament proper as the 16th seed. So they are the last seed, which I think theoretically should mean they go up against the first seed person, which is probably Yuki, but that's not happening. They're actually going to end up on the opposite ends of the bracket. So technically the seeding doesn't matter because the seeding should work one way, but that's not how this works. And I say they end up on the opposite ends because, spoilers, guess what the final match is going to be of the tournament?
Oh, I mean, that was a given.
Say Reggie versus Yuki? Yes, of course it is. What other match was it going to be? But at the end of the episode, Say and Ricardo are fixing up their gunpla in, I guess, Say and Reggie's hotel room while Reggie's enjoying some cookies. And he's like, you guys enjoy building that much, right? Don't you? And they're like, yes, of course we do. As they hand each other tools back and forth to make their Gundams not a pile of scrap. Which coincidentally takes us to episode 16. Dad, we meet again! So we kick off with Say having a dream about his dad going, you made the tournament! Good job, son! And throwing him a little celebration stuff with gunplas and stuff. And like, here's some legendary clippers that I have as a present for making the tournament. Because that's hard. And you did good. I know that's hard because I made the tournament and won it.
I thought he was runner-up.
Was he? I don't remember.
I think he was.
Okay. Anywho. Reggie wakes up and he wonders where his dad's at the moment. Don't worry, we'll get to his dad in this episode. So we're on a 3-day break now before the tournament proper starts. And Rinko closes up the shop to go talk to reporters about her kids because she's probably going to go talk about how Reggie's a good kid and stuff because fuck it, I'm adopting him.
Also, I love how this point right here actually comes up at the end of the episode too.
Oh my god, yes. But we slide back over to Say and Reggie, who bicker a bit because Reggie wants to help repair Star Build, and Say's like, "No, you have no experience building. I'm not letting you touch this. You touch it to put it on the pedestal, to pilot it. That is the short and long of when you get to touch Star Build. You are not touching it to repair it because as they jostle with it, Star Build's head actually comes off, and Say's like, out with you." As I repair Star Build. So Reggie heads off, and he wants to go build one to prove that he's not an incompetent builder. At the moment. But after Reggie storms off sometime later, China and Rao drop by to help out with repairs, and Say tells them about it. And Rao's like, this might be a good moment for Rao to learn what it means to build Gundams. So we cut over to the mall we've been at several times now, where Alia is just enjoying some ice cream because that's just what Alia does. She just goes to the mall and just buys a bunch of food and enjoys it. Which I find it weird. This is such Japanese ice cream, and I'm like, it looks like normal soft serve ice cream. I think.
Yep.
That's nothing spectacular. Alia, you can find that anywhere. Take it down a notch. Anyway, she spies on Reggie as he goes into... It's technically just a hobby store, but we don't see anything besides Gunpla. So he tries to find something to build to prove Say wrong. And this is when a suspicious bearded man shows up.
Yeah. Suspicious.
Mm-hmm. But he drops by and offers to give guidance to Reggie in building Gunpla and recommends him one, which is the beginning Gundam, which this is a nice little meta joke, I guess, because the beginning Gundam is from actually the original short story that would go on to inspire Build Fighters.
That's kind of funny.
So in essence, Reggie is building the Gundam that is the precursor to the Gundams that he has been piloting all series.
That's funny.
Yes.
Also, I love how our mysterious old man does the exact same gushing that Say does over Gundams.
So Reggie doesn't catch on to it.
If it wasn't clear to anyone watching at this point, yes, you have figured that out.
Yes, this is Say's dad, who's in town, because we'll get there.
I love how it's like you initially see him and you're like, oh, yeah, you're Say's dad, and then you see that and you're like, yes, you definitely are Say's dad. Got it.
And what he does later with Reggie and Alia, who he ropes in by going like, hey, you're gonna build one too! Here's a command Gundam, that SD command Gundam to build. Let's go build! You now understand why Say is the way he is when it comes to Gundams.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, he more or less works the pair like a drill sergeant. He even has them saying, yes, sir, in like 5 seconds. And it sounds incredibly weird for the two of them to say it, especially Alia. Because bear in mind, Japanese voice actors, so sometimes English is, of course, the second language for them, most likely. It sounds weird hearing them say it. It's an odd emphasis on syllables, I guess. Anyway, he works them into building the Gundams. Hey, Charizard! With the level 5 Dragonite Hunter engine. Why do I know it's that specific one?
Also, I just realized the music was behind it. I'm assuming that was a host.
Probably Charizard with the host, I'm assuming. Yes,
Okay.
I see confirmation for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realize the music was above the alerts there. My bad.
Oops. Ooh, new game. I get to get one at the end of the month. Or the start of next month. Depends on when shipping decides to give it to me. And if it comes through UPS, if the UPS decides, nah, you've got to wait a weekend, fuck you.
Also, speaking of which, I need to find out something because I can get it digital on the Switch eShop, but I also want to try to, since you know your way around it a little bit more, I want to compare if it might be cheaper to try to look into getting it physical.
Oh, you got Yakuza 0. I played through that on stream a while back. Yakuza is really good. Zero is actually a really good entry point for the series. And also being $8 is incredibly good. Hot damn. That is a nice, good, like 40 to 60 hour game. That is incredibly fun. And a good entry point to the entire Yakuza series that is like 10 games long now, or something like that.
I feel like because I wound up watching both you and Ty play it, I kind of neglected playing it. I have it, I just neglected playing it because of watching it. So it's one of those, I might kind of let it sit for a while and then come to it.
Yeah. Well, Ty's done 0. I don't think he did all of 0, but he did some of 0. I think he did also some of 7? 7 or 8, one of those two. Yeah, I don't know. What's the eShop price on Memory of Heroes?
I'd have to pull it back up.
Okay. Because I can just link you the...
I mean, that would work if you can link me that, and then I can compare.
Yeah, because that's just the Memory of Heroes page for the Switch one. The English Switch one, and I think it's like 60 plus shipping, and mine was... I have to pull up my order real quick. How much was shipping? Granted, I did expensive shipping.
Fair.
Mine was like $17 shipping to get it like in like 3 days. Yeah, mine's express, which is just like, I want it as fast as possible. Give me here's $16. Get it to me in like 3 days. Teleport that shit directly into my PS4.
Let's see.
I still don't know if anyone from Ryder has been in any of the Yakuza games, because a lot of the like voice acting and stuff in the Yakuza games is from actual Japanese actors. Like TV and cinema actors, so I don't know if anyone from Ryder or Sentai or just general Toku have ended up in Yakuza. I know Kiria has ended up in Build Fighters, and I think Kiria's voice actor has ended up in other stuff as well. Mainly because he got hired onto the role before they started modeling the characters in game after the actors, so Kyrie's voice actor does not look like Kyrie the character. Same with, I believe, Majima. I will say, for Memory Heroes on the eShop, I only forewarned getting it on the eShop because I don't know if that's going to be the English release that you can get on the eShop. That's the only thing I don't know. Because it's technically a different region.
Well, I do know from a lot of Switch games that have multi-language support, typically it's the same for all of them. And, you know, region free, that usually kind of helps too.
Mm-hmm. I just know that the specific version of Memory Heroes with the English subs is supposed to be, I think, the Chinese, like, Asian region release rather than the Japanese release. But I don't know if that's what's on the Japanese eShop or whether you have to make an account for a completely different eShop in order to get the English version. That is just like, here's the Chinese eShop in order to get this specific version of Memory Heroes that has the English subs. I don't know. That's in the tricky realm of, I'm not sure which digital version of Memory of Heroes I suggest you to get. Because I'm not sure which version has the English subs until it is out and someone says that or not. Because I'm not willing to take that risk. I would rather just have the physical game and not worry about it.
Also, to be fair, it's only like $250 more on the eShop as opposed to paying for the high shipping.
Yep.
So if I wanted it quick, that would actually probably be the better route, since I'd already be paying that much for shipping as it is.
Yeah. And I can almost guarantee you'll probably pay like $2.50 more for shipping, even if it's really slow shipping that would take like 2 weeks to get to you. As someone who's done a lot of importing, yeah, even like cheap, like slow, see you in a month shipping is at least like $7-8.
Oof.
Yes. Even chip shipping is like expensive shipping, and Also bear in mind that some shipping isn't coming out of Japan at the moment because of pandemic. Like, for instance, when I order off Monterake, my only option is DHL, which is an expensive shipping. Nothing else is going to come out of Japan from Monterake except DHL. Same at Ami at the moment, I believe. I think they might have opened up a couple of the other shipping options that are now like open and actually doing exporting. But yeah, your shipping options are limited currently, because of pandemic.
Yeah.
So you might not even have the option of picking slow, cheap shipping. You might only have the option of expensive shipping or nothing. Anywho, back to the episode.
Since we got derailed hard.
Yes. Reggie and Alia are being taught how to build Gundams by Sei's dad, which this entire episode may or may not be like a tutorial episode for people who are like, hey, you've liked Build Fighter so far. Do you want to build Gundams? Here's the basics on building Gundams. Even the really easy, cheap, like inexpensive means to like make them really cool. Which is like to spray them with some like matte spray, I think. Or I guess some type of clear coat, more or less. And to do like panel lining. But we check in with Niels, who's continuing to spy on Machida, and overhears C going, I'm not done with them. I require to beat the shit out of this child. So I'm going to go beat the shit out of Reggie with Gundams. So this takes us back to Reggie and Alia, who have finished up their Gundams. And Reggie wants to fight with them because, of course, he does. But the station there, battle station there, has a AI option, so they can fight the AI. So Reggie takes out the beginning Gundam on his test run, and he kind of understands where Sei is now in the tournament with like how much damage the star build takes and rebuilding it. And it's just like, shit, I should be more careful maybe. Sei puts in a lot of work to make star build function.
Oh, by the way, thanks to Google Translate, yeah, the one on the Japanese eShop does say it supports English.
Okay, good. I would worry. I would want some sort of clarification. I'd have to check the PSN one.
I had to make sure because of the way that the Switch eShop's laid out. Luckily, it's the same regardless of what region.
Mm-hmm.
But I had to go back in and make sure which one of the fields was actually the language one.
Yeah.
But yeah, it does show English as one of them in there, so.
Yeah, I would want to. Good thing it says that, because I would need that clarification, because I don't know if I would want to bite the bullet and hope and pray.
My other thing would be figuring out how to go about doing that without having a card company say, what are you doing?
My solution has been credit card. Put it on a credit card and pay it off, but I don't know if you're willing to go through the process of getting a credit card. Granted, it was the most painless thing in the world to do. I just had to have time to get the credit card to me so I could use it.
Like, I'm more wondering if maybe PayPal will let me bypass that, but I don't know.
If your bank is like my bank, when it comes to PayPal, it won't matter.
I know it is when it comes to Google Checkout.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I could technically just put the money on my PayPal account and just do it straight through it.
That would probably work. As long as your card's not
the easier answer.
Honestly, if your card's not involved, your bank won't care.
True.
Unfortunately, I don't think to put money on PayPal ahead of time, so my bank is just like, region, fraud.
To be fair, with something like that, it's not going to be I know I'll be able to have it day one kind of thing. So, yeah, I would have time to plan and actually do that the right way.
Yeah. Hell, even me pre-ordering it is not getting it day one. I have to wait like 3 days or so. I have to wait for shipping on it. Yeah. Granted, I'm an old fart when it comes to video games. I need physical copies. I rather have physical copies of stuff. Meh.
I mean, if I could walk in like a GameStop or a Walmart here and walk out with it, then yeah, I'd probably rather have the physical.
Yeah.
The fact that I can't, I'm like, okay, just what can I get it the quickest? But yeah, I derailed this again. My bad.
Yep. We'll get through the episode. We're almost there. Anyway, so Reggie's taking out beginning Gundam on a test run, but C shows up, and of course, Beardman recognizes him. So Reggie's fighting him, and unfortunately, he ends up on the back end in a corner. He's almost about to be destroyed until Alia arrives with the command Gundam. It's like, fucking let's kill him. And then the two of them pretty much demolish him and prove how drift compatible they are by tag teaming him without even saying much of anything to each other.
Yep.
But yeah, they take out C. They celebrate with Alia actually almost letting slip that she's in the tournament. It's just like, it's beginner's luck or something. Don't worry about it. I'm totally not that mysterious fighter that's in the tournament.
I mean, to be fair, she probably could say she was, and Reggie still probably wouldn't catch it.
Yeah. But they also noticed that Beardman is gone, and he's actually went to the bathroom where C is. And proceeds to give the speech to C, who has no lines in the series and doesn't talk. Of just like, well, sometimes I'm just this random dude that shows up in hobby shops and helps people build Gundams. Sometimes I own a shop that I am never in and make my wife and kid run it. But the rest of the time, I'm a Gundam cop. You're under arrest, sir, for 35 crimes against Gundams. For 35 counts of doing crime with Gundam. And I love that he takes him out in 5 seconds and also gives him a swirly because fuck this asshole.
Also by not doing anything except for tripping him.
Yep. But he's taken into custody. And that night, Reggie shows off the beginning Gundam to them and talks about how, yeah, I met some random person and he gave me these clippers for building the Gundam. And Sei, of course, immediately recognizes them, but decides to not say anything about it because it's like, oh yeah, those are my dad's. Oh, my dad helped you. Oh, that's cool. But we check in with Takashi, which is his actual name, as he's like, well, I'm not going to be able to see you in person, son, because job and being a Gundam cop, but I will watch you on TV, and I will cheer you on in the tournament. And Sei kind of looks to the stars and is happy to know that his dad helped him out a little bit. But to properly end the episode, Rinko now drops by and is talking to them and Sei's like, oh yeah, Dad was here earlier. He helped Reggie. But before he gets into all that, we see him at the shop. Like, why is the shop closed? Honey, why'd you close the shop? Why are you not here? Where'd you go? I'm sorry. I have to work a lot. I'm sorry. Oh my god. Good to know that dumbass runs in the male side of this family, more or less.
I mean, fair, yeah.
And that's our last 2 episodes of this. So how'd you feel about this pair?
liked it. It definitely kind of helps flesh out a lot of it kind of deal at the same time. And I feel like, as weird as it is, the filler episodes we have aren't really filler episodes.
Yeah. They're nice little character episodes.
It's almost like they know how to, write a story.
Yep. Because we had a Cheetah episode to give us the break, and now we get a Takashi episode to be like, hey, here's Sei's dad.
Oh, please tell me Discord didn't break again. You've got to be freaking kidding me. As soon as the words came out of my mouth, I watched it go to red.
No. So yeah.
And on top of that, I kind of like that our quote-unquote filler episodes have kind of been helping fill in the supporting cast.
Yeah. And also been just like nice transition break episodes from like, well, here was our first like major tournament arc. Here's a break episode. Here's a like part 1 of the next tournament arc. Here's a break episode before we get into it proper next week. Because I think we just start next week in earnest of just like, yep, we're just getting into the middle of it next week. I think I'm trying to check the episode, but ads decided to lock me up. So I tried to check the episode. Yeah, it looks like it. And, the round 1 fight. Round 1 for Sei and Reggie. They're up against Mao. So we have that. We have Yuki's first round match. Actually, I go up against the twins, so Sei and Reggie don't even get revenge on the twins for giving them their first loss. That's all Yuki.
Oh wow.
I think Sei and Reggie's round 2. I think is up against Niels. From the looks of it.
Oh really?
Yep, they're up against Niels for round 2. And then the last episode, I believe, is round 2 fight with Alia versus Ricardo. So that's our next 4 episodes as we continue to chip away at the series. We'll have it done probably before the end of the month, I think. What does the watch list say in terms of how many episodes we have left?
I believe so.
Da-ba-da-ba-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, we only have like 3 left. Alright, no, we have 2 left.
I was gonna say, try that count again.
We have 2 left.
So the last week of the month we'll be back to Ichigo.
Yay.
Yeah.
Well, We'll have a good break before we get back into it. And then I have to go, what episodes were we on? Where were we in this show?
I mean, it really won't matter what episodes we were on because, I mean, I feel like the show kind of came to a screeching halt a lot of times.
Yeah. But anywho, that's next week. This upcoming week, we've got the usual batch of stuff. Tommy doing some mucking about with the Master Chief Collection.
Trying to break it. I'm probably going to actually utilize the level portion of the randomizer I made. It's one of those with me knowing how to monkey with it. I'll monkey with it and come up with something for that. That way it's just a few levels and I'm just seeing how bad I can break the game.
Yeah.
But yeah.
We've got that. More Radiant Dawn. Hopefully getting into more of Part 3 proper. Because I won't lose a character on the last turn again.
I was fixing to say again, because I feel like this is the second time you've had to redo something, because, you know...
Yeah, it has.
Oops.
A lot of this has made me go, wow, I'm liking new Fire Emblem. The newer Fire Emblem is better, because they let you just not deal with this. They just tell you, you just lose the opportunity to get experience on these characters for a map when they get taken out. That's it. You don't lose them permanently. You don't have the headache of trying to do, like, perfect runs without having to worry about all this.
I wonder if there's a way to mod it to where you could eliminate the permakill.
Probably. Honestly, I wouldn't mind, like, casual mode on older Fire Emblem games. I think there's a reason.
Look at that randomizer.
I have not yet at the moment.
Because I wonder if it might be some kind of setting in it or something.
Probably not, because most people probably don't care if they don't want to put casual mode on it, because no, that's not real Fire Emblem. And I go, well, it's a more enjoyable Fire Emblem.
But a randomizer is a whole nother beast all on its own. So I could actually see that as being something in there.
Yeah. Friday, we start Luigi's Mansion proper. Saturday is Rampant Gaming with something. And we'll come back around to teach us our next week. So if you like what you're seeing, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away on that follow. Go at TeachUsSoon on Twitter. Gets you updates when we go live. Exclamation Discord or exclamation point Discord and chat. Get your Discord link. Drop by. Say hi. We'll see you tomorrow, folks. Or see you this week, folks. I don't know why I said tomorrow.